Good morning. Welcome to this press conference. I am Commissioner Eddie Jones of Shelby County Board of Commissioners. I am also the president of the National Association of Black County Elected Officials. Today, present with me are my colleagues who are also elected officials. We have Commissioner Ford, who also serves on the NOBCO, the National Organization of Black County Elected Officials Board. We also have Commissioner Lowry, and he is the vice chair of the Shelby County Black Caucus for the Commission. Also, to my left is Chairman of the Board of County Commissioners, Willie F. Brooks, Jr., and to his left, we have Commissioner Van Turner, Chairman Emeritus of the Board of Commissioners. He is also the president of the local NAACP, and we have Commissioner Reginald Milton, who's also a commissioner. He represents District 10, and he's a member of the Black Caucus. He's also a member of the board, National Organization of Black County Elected Officials, as well as Commissioner Turner and Commissioner Brooks. And so we are here today to speak on behalf, I'm here today to speak on behalf of the National Association of Black County Elected Officials and to President Joe Biden, who has made a historical moment in history in his presidency. He has nominated a candidate, Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, as the next Supreme Court Justice, a pivotal time in our history for an African-American female, the first, who will join the rest of the justices on the Supreme Court. And so what we're going to do here today, I'm going to say some words to the membership of the National Association of Black County Officials. And I first want to thank all of the candidates who applied. They all had good credentials, but we stand today in solidarity with President Biden's nominee, Judge Jackson, who has impeccable credentials, exceptional credentials, and unimpeachable character. She has an exceptional view for the rule of law. And so we want to thank him. And to the members of the National Association of Black County Elected Officials, we are asking each and every one of you to continue to reach out to your senators and urge them to confirm what they have already confirmed before when they had appointed Judge Jackson to another lower federal bench. And so to the membership, please reach out and let's stand in solidarity with our president in this historical moment as he moves forward with his nominee to serve as the next Supreme Court Justice, and for each of those senators that they will make a historical moment to be the first to vote for an African-American female to serve on the highest court in this land, the Supreme Court. And so, Mr. President, we are standing with you in solidarity. We're requesting that our membership do the same. Thank you for what you have done in this time in U.S. history. So at this time, I will bring up the chairman of the Board of Commissioners. We'll bring them up in this order. Chairman Brooks, and then we will bring up Vice Chair Lowry, and after Vice Chair Lowry for the Commission's Black Caucus, we'll bring up Commissioner Turner, as I said before, who is also the local president of the NAACP, and then Commissioner Ford and Commissioner Milton, and then we'll take questions. So with that being said, Commissioner Brooks, Chairman Brooks.
Thank you, and good morning. Certainly, I want to take this opportunity on behalf of the citizens of Shelby County, being the chairman of the Board of Commissioners, to congratulate President Biden, as well as the nominee for him nominating an African-American woman. This is certainly a historical moment when you talk about diversity and inclusion. Judge Brown represents that, and I think President Biden did an excellent job nominating this particular candidate. As a part of the Divine Nine as well, you cannot get a better candidate to represent. The African-American woman plays a very important role in the electoral process, and I'd like to encourage the senators of Tennessee to support the nominee in order that she can get through this process without any problems, any trouble whatsoever. Again, you talk about inclusion, you talk about representation. When you look at the demographics of this nation, of this county, of this state, Black women plays a very important role in this process. Thank you very much.
Thank you. On behalf of the Black Caucus as Vice Chair, we are in tremendous support of Judge Jackson. Representation matters, simply does. And actually, on behalf of our chair, Tammy Sawyer, who couldn't be with us today because she's traveling, as the only Black woman that serves on the County Commission body of office, her representation matters here today as well. And so we're extremely supportive of this nomination. Again, as the chairman said, we urge our state senators to get behind this nominee to have a seamless process. It's been beyond time that a Black woman would be on the Supreme Court. So we're ecstatic, we're thankful to President Joe Biden, and we look forward to seeing her confirmed. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Van Turner. I'm a commissioner with the Shelby County Board of Commissioners, as well as the current president of the local chapter of the NAACP. So on behalf of this body and on behalf of the NAACP, we also thank Judge Biden, President Biden, for making this nomination to the Senate. And as my colleagues have stated, we're asking that Senators Haggerty and Blackburn will support Judge Jackson's nomination in committee as well as on the full Senate floor. We know that Judge Jackson, clerk for the Supreme Court, I think she had 3 stints clerking for the Supreme Court. She attended Harvard. She also was first appointed to the trial court of the federal bench. She just ascended to the Court of Appeals for the federal bench just on last year, and now she's nominated for the U.S. Supreme Court. So she's had the track record to make this next step in her journey. She's only 51, which means that if she gets there, she'll be able to serve a long time, which would be great. And let's note, only 55 short years ago, in 1967, Thurgood Marshall was just appointed to the U.S. Supreme Court. And now, 55 years later, we have the first African-American female appointed to the U.S. Supreme Court. And so that's not lost on us as well. On behalf of the NAACP, many times when the legislators could not give us assistance, when the governors and the mayors and even the president perhaps did not step out to give us assistance, we always found relief in the court system. We always found relief in the federal court system. So the federal court system from Brown versus Board of Education up to this point has always been a place where the NAACP has been able to find the relief it needed to fight for the civil rights and the human rights of people everywhere, not just African Americans, but everyone. So again, on behalf of the NAACP and these Board of Commissioners, we thank President Biden for nominating Judge Jackson to this post. We would hope that all senators confirm unanimously for Judge Jackson to be appointed to the U.S. Supreme Court, and we're looking for Judge Jackson's service on the bench of the U.S. Supreme Court, and we know that she would do well. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, I'm not going to be long. The gentlemen that have preceded me have already said everything, so I just ask that the process be swift, the process be fair, let the process take its course, and let's go ahead and have Judge Jackson be the next Supreme Court Justice. Thank you, Mr. President, or Mr. Milton.
Good morning. A very good morning. I'm County Commissioner Reginald Milton, and ladies and gentlemen, I wish to thank our President for making such a wise decision, and I'd like to congratulate Judge Jackson for as she ascends to the highest Supreme Court. This is a unique moment for me because yesterday I was home with my mother celebrating her 102nd birthday. She was born in 1920, the year that women gained the right, earned the right to vote. She was able to live and see the first African-American president, the first African-American female vice president, and now she will witness this opportunity of seeing a Supreme Court justice who is African-American, female. This is a great day for all of us. Though we take steps back from time to time, we also take steps forward. And today, I can say this country has taken a step forward. I congratulate the President, and I congratulate our future judge, who will be a Supreme Court Justice, Ms. Jackson. Thank you very much.
All right, so what we're going to do at this time, we're going to open it up for any questions that you all may have for us, and feel free to ask whatever it is that you need to ask.
Talk about the importance of the first African-American female being the Supreme Court. I mean, it's awesome. That's just my personal opinion being a girl, but talk about it.
So, it's very important. If you think about this country, the United States, how we got here, especially as African Americans, and how we have moved throughout the analogs of history for this country, wasn't always pleasant. But there are moments in time where the pleasantries for African Americans to say that hope is still alive for African Americans, and that we don't have to sit back and just wait on things to come our way just out of pity. And so it is very important that we continue to move forward in this way. As we look at elected officials all across this country, as the president of the National Association of Black County Elected Officials, there are so many African Americans that are elected to office to serve. And so this is just another milestone in that fabric of the United States flag, that blacks in this country truly matters, and once we get where we're going, we seem to always come out ahead, because the standard is held higher for us than it is for anyone else. And so we excel once we've given the opportunity to do so.
To talk about why it was important to come out in solidarity to get our senators to pass their own through, vote yes.
Well, here's why we're asking all of our members all across the country to join in solidarity. When you have a huge voice, now you're being heard. And so the president has already made that decision, African American, that it's time for that type of service. And so standing in solidarity with the president and what he has laid before the Senate, we stand wholeheartedly in solidarity with the president's decision. We're urging our members to do the same, reach out to those senators in all of those states where they are represented and ask them to reconfirm something that they've already done before with this candidate who has served on the federal level.
I have a question. In the past, the Supreme Court nominations have been a contentious subject in the House. Do you think that the Tennessee state senators are going to vote yes?
I'm not sure what they're going to do, but when you look at this candidate that is before them, they probably have already voted for her before. I'm not sure if they have or not. However, she's there, and so, well, we'll wait till that happens.
Pick us up a little bit.
So, right, so she's there. And we've seen these Senate Judiciary Committees confirmations from time to time throughout history, how contentious some of it has been, especially when it was an African American trying to get the seat to the highest court in the land. And so we will be urging our senators in the state of Tennessee to support this nominee. And the membership of the National Association of Black County Officials, we will be reaching out to them to do the same in every state where we have representation.
And I think, she brings a different perspective, being a black female, where she's not the first female going up for nomination. She's a black female, and she brings a different experience to the Justice Department based on her experiences and her qualifications. And so, given that, we are urging and supporting. And let's be clear, the senators of the state of Tennessee represent all of Tennessee. And so, when you look at the demographics across this state, we are represented, and they are our senators, and we are asking them to support the nominee come forward.
Last question. Do you think that this nomination, if
When appointed.
Get your question right.
Yeah, all right, when appointed. I was going to correct it.
would sway the court, would it sway the court? Would it keep the court balanced? Would it not do anything?
Well, here's what I would say about this particular candidate. Judge Jackson is an exceptional jurist when it comes to the rule of law. I believe that with her sitting on there, it will bring more equity across as it relates to law, and not simply in the number of justices that sit there, from conservative to liberal, whatever. It is her exceptional ability as a jurist. And I think that with that skill set, it could potentially sway how some of the things that go before the Supreme Court go, because of her exceptional ability to do so.
Last question. Voting rights. That is one that I meant to ask about. That's an important issue that will probably go to the Supreme Court. What's your opinion about this judge being in those decisions?
Give me some examples of.
Just the Voting Rights Acts that are going, is that an important thing to have a black woman in this seat for those decisions that probably are coming up?
Well, here's what I would say. Yes, to your question, it is an important role that could be played at the highest court, the Supreme Court, to get things done. I am in total support that Judge Jackson, because of her background as a jurist and the interpretation for the rule of law, I think that has been an in-depth piece that has not just really been there because everyone had their opinions, but when you can tie it back to law in a way and send it out to the rest of the justices based on the rule of law, I think each and every one of those justices will see that, because all of them have a full understanding of the rule of law. But if you have somebody who can present that to them in a way that it makes it difficult for them to say no or go against the rule of law, and to your question as it relates to voting rights and all of that, what's happening in all of the states, yes, because I believe a lot of what's happening in the individual states will end up at the Supreme Court level, and you are going to need someone up there that can analyze the rule of law and put it before her colleagues, and then make a decision that will bring equality back to our judicial system as it relates to those type of voting laws that are being presented at the state levels.
Thank you very much.
All right.